we came to the party zone at 1 a.m. Me and Alex, so we had like 4 or 5 hours of being at the party zone, exploring the stages, meeting friends. We didn't came with any tent or any like a lot of belongings from home. We only came with like some kind of mattress and 2 chairs and let's party, okay? And then at 6:30 in the morning, we are in the actual main stage, which is located here. This is the location of the main stage where we're standing. And we suddenly, which at that time, it's the climax of those kind of parties, because everybody dance to the night and the climax of the songs are coming at the sunrise, and suddenly you can see everybody's faces and everybody just waiting to those hours of those kind of parties, which are the most beautiful. So the sun came up. A couple of minutes later we see missiles in the air, but a lot of missiles, which is we used to see. It's hard to say it, but in Israel everybody saw once in the time in their life missiles, but we see a lot of missiles in the air, and suddenly the DJ comes to the system and saying, "Hey guys, red alert, red alert! It's not a drill. There is missiles, evacuate as quick as you can." So at that moment everybody just got split up, and for a couple of first minutes sat down near the stages, near the bar area, and me and Arik were in the middle of the stage and thought to ourselves, what should we do? Should we stay? Should we go? And we decided, don't be afraid, it's and me and Arik thought to ourselves, what should we do? And we decided to grab our things and to get the hell out of here as quickly as we can. So that's what we did. We grabbed our stuff, we didn't have a lot, and we got into the car. And then started one of the first, I call it lottery wins that I had, or I don't know, guidance. I by accident got confused with the direction of the road, and while I was getting out of the parking lot, instead of going north, like to the left, I headed south to the right. And during that time, Arik's mom calls, and we try to make her calm and tell her jokes. That minute we haven't realized yet that there are terrorists. We only knew that there were missiles. And after a couple of minutes, I'm seeing that there is a turn off to, and there is a sign that calls to Machtesh Ramon, okay, to Ramon Crater. And I realized that we headed south, and thought to ourselves, what should we do? So we got back to north. And I know now that the first people who came north got to meet the terrorists that were waiting for them.
Ambushed.
Yeah, they were ambushed. Right, so we headed again north, and we got crossed over the party zone, and like 2-3 kilometers after the party zone, north from the party zone, there was a traffic jam. At that traffic jam, a lot of things happened at the same time, and people started to do turn-offs on us. And one of the people that did a turn-off shouted from the car, "Guys, there is a terrorist penetration here. Save yourself, go back." So this is the minute that we realized that they are terrorists. And we got back also. I did a turn-off, and we decided to go back south. So I stopped the car. I drove like 2 kilometers, and then I stopped the car something like 200-300 meters before the parking lot, before the party zone, and because I saw that there is already a mess over here from afar. So police officers and stuff like this, and a car with a really nice couple stopped next to us, and we didn't know what to do, and they asked us if we want to join them to Be'eri Kibbutz, to their family. And something didn't feel right, and we just wished them good luck and much love, and they went to Be'eri. And then we decided to go and try again, go south to Crater Ramon Bay. We went to the party zone, that's 200 meters, and there were already police officers that pointed the cars east to the road, to the bushes, to the field. Okay, and this is what we do. We didn't have any chance to do something else, so we drove after the cars east to the road to the field. I know now that something like 4 or 5 minutes after we headed east to the field, we heard the gunshots. And this is the first time that we heard the gunshots of the automatic weapons. And we see people that abandoned their car and running and screaming, and we don't know what to do, and we don't know where the gun shooting is coming from. So we decided also to abandon the car and just ran and try to see where the gun shooting is coming from. Luckily, we had a couple of bottles of waters. This is the bag, I think, that was with me, right? This is the bag that I had, and we had a couple of bottles of waters, and we went up to the hill with a lot of people, and we tried to see where the gunshots are coming from. So, and then we saw people that ran into us from the direction of where the car were, and also people that are running so to us from the opposite direction. So we didn't know which way to run, and like I don't know how, but when you hear the gun shooting, just try to duck and to be safe and to roll between spots that you think that they won't recognize you, and that's what we did. We didn't know where to run. Okay, so it turns for a couple of like 20 minutes, the beginning of this scenario, while we were running and hiding and running and hiding. And then I saw a guy that I recognized from my hometown with my eyes. We had eye contact, and he pushes 2 other girls to a bush, okay? And something felt right too, and we jumped into that bush also. That time we were 40 minutes, I think, something like this, at the bush. The gun shooting, I remember the loudest that I remember at the time. Arik always remind me that he had, I saw an eyelash, and I took his eyelash and I told him, this is the minute to make a wish, my friend. And we had a little laugh at that scenario inside the bush. And suddenly my mom calls, and I try to make her calm and to make up a story. But then my brother calls, she probably called him, and he's in a special unit. And he called the minute that there were gun shooting all above us, and I said to him, hey brother, get everybody you can here. People are shooting on us, terrorists are shooting on us, get everybody you can. And I remember clearly his words that saying, you're joking, it's not right. Luckily, a couple of hours later, after I made it to a safe place, my mother told me that she called my brother, and he was already in his way south with his gun. And then he made his turn back home. So at some point we felt to get out of the bush, and that minute we got split up from the guy that I recognized earlier, and me and Arik always were together because I saw the minute I went out of the bush, I saw a police officer, and I will do a little break here in the story, and I will jump with you 3 weeks later at one of the healing spaces for the Nava survivors. I saw this guy from the bush, and we hugged, and we were really happy that we both made it alive. And then we tried to think to ourselves, where do we know each other? And then he told me, wait a second, your last name is Hinitz? Hinitz is my last name, and I said yes, and he said, your brother is like a family member in our home. Our brothers are best friends. And it turned out that they grew up with each other, they are best friends, they are serving at the same unit, they're living together at the same house in the army, okay? So it was unbelievable to recognize it later. We went out of the bush and we saw the police officer, and I remember yelling at us, come after me, they're after us. And then in a second we hear again the automatic weapon, the gun shooting, and we run after the police officer for something like a couple of minutes. After a while the gun shooting were a little bit far from us, and I asked him, hey, what do you know? And he told me, so my radio contact is not working right now, my radio device is not working. The last thing that I know that there are 50 terrorists in the field, and we have to go east to the towns at the east. So during the whole day I knew that there were 50 terrorists, and it felt like a lot at the time, but it turned out there were thousands. Okay? And we ran after the officer, and suddenly we got into how do you say it, like a small agriculture little farm, okay, of peppers. We went inside. Arik seen me putting a pepper in my bag, and he told me, what are you doing? And I told him, we will eat it later, don't worry. Okay? We went out of it, and then after a couple of minutes we saw a big part of high trees. Over there they were waiting for us, something like 100, 200 people for the party, and near the high trees area there was a blank surface, okay, like completely without any tree, any rock, like completely blank. And we knew that we had to cross that area to go to the towns at the east. And people started to screaming at each other, you have to split up, it's not a good idea to be a big group. But it didn't matter. All I had in my mind was to not lose, I cannot lose the police officer. And that's what we did. And I told Arik, listen, we can't run, so we don't lose our power, and we won't make the other people afraid. We have to go really fast and try to catch up the officer. And that's what we did. And during that walk, we gave people water, people that we came across that were hydrated. And I don't know how to tell you this, or how did it happen. That thought in my mind that at that scenario, which felt like something like Exodus, I had this idea in my mind that I am safe, because I served in the army, and I was at operations, and there were times that they woke me up at night for some kind of thing at the radar, and it turned out to be a plastic bag or something like this. So I thought to myself, there is no chance that the army is not surrounding us. And I told everybody, say hi to the satellites, and I grabbed my phone, and I remember remember talking, thank you Shabak for listening to me. I know that you already got all your groups. I love you and stuff like this. And I don't know, this kind of idea that I had in my mind, I think that now I know that saved me and saved my spirit, because I didn't have any chance to think otherwise. I don't know how that happened. At some point we lost the group, and we came close to, we already been 6 people, and the group that were behind us, we lost them. And we saw a car that came into us. We lost also the officer. At some point he was already ahead of us, and the car came, and the minute we ran out of water, the guy, which turns out later to be a big hero, he saved a lot of people. His name is Rami, if you came across his name, okay? I think that was Rami. He threw us a bottle of water the minute we had to, and he told us, you're in a good direction, keep going, I'm going to save other people. That's what we did. After this, another car came, and it was already full of people, and the driver talked Hebrew but with Arabic accent. So I didn't know if to go on the car or not. I didn't have any second to think about it, and already the 4 people that were with us jumped into the car, and there were no place, and told us, no, don't worry, I will come back, be here. And he drove. This is the minute me and Arik for the first time were alone, like for a couple of minutes. We kept going, and then we saw a car from afar, and it turned us to be an Israeli a car, and they drove us to Patish, which is a town